He said, "That's right."
Oh my goodness.
All right, so y'all don't believe in. Okay, so I'll do an intro another time. So y'all don't believe it.
Yeah,
So
you can do it.
y'all
You
don't
go
go
for
out
that.
to eat. The question is, do you go out to eat during COVID? Because it's my birthday and people want to take me out, and I'm gonna go. I'm going out. I mean, I hate to say
I'm
it.
all for it, Venus. I'm all for you going out to celebrate your birthday. I understand there's COVID and all that other stuff. I'm eating inside because it's too dang cold to sit outside. I understand there's a risk, but there's always a risk at anything you do. So
my sister told me that a woman was inside from March to October. She didn't leave. All she ordered her groceries. She didn't even go out for walks because she was immunocompromised, and she got COVID. Like she literally stayed in her house to be safe and got COVID.
I bet someone came to visit her who had been at a restaurant.
No, she said she purposely didn't do anything because she was immunocompromised. She was telling people, "Don't come to my house." The only thing she would order was the food to come into her house, and she got it
from food delivery.
Yeah, I guess that's the only thing I can think of, unless the air got into her face. I don't know, like the alien.
And usually when somebody does like an Instacart or a Shipt or something like that, if they're immune compromised and they feel some kind of way, they'll say leave it on the porch or something like that, and they leave it on there for a couple of hours, and then they do the whole thing where they spray everything down and and bringing it inside. I've heard crazy stories how, oh yeah, we wiped everything down. I've been told
I did that. I was that for like the first 3 months of 3 or 4 months of COVID, and then I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I used to wash everything. Had a big bucket of ammonia and water or whatever and clean it. I don't know.
I mean, to me, some things do feel extreme. Like I never did that per se, but we made a decision. We said it. It's hard to stick to, but we said, and by we I mean me and David, said that once you can no longer eat outside, it's too cold. That's it. There's no food tasty enough for me to risk getting a potentially deadly virus and leaving my child motherless. So I'm not going to do it. I try to mitigate risk in as much as I possibly can. And eating inside a restaurant is not necessary. Yes, it's fun. We love to eat out. That's one of our favorite activities is going to restaurants, new restaurants, trying different places. We love it. I had to have a low-key birthday myself. Everyone had to whack COVID birthday. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out. I mind my business when it comes to other people. But in terms of me, I just want to be around for my next birthday. So I pray that I can get there without catching anything, spreading it to my immediate family. I visit David. I see my mom. And that's it.
Well, I'm what they consider an essential worker anyway, right? So I've been going to work every day since March. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to sit up here and risk my life for some money, I'm going to risk my life for something that I want to do that benefits me to enjoy my life, because that's crazy. Nobody's promised tomorrow. And while we're sitting up here in this house and locked up and everything like that, people are literally dying, and not just from COVID. People are dying because it's just their season. So I'm supposed to miss out on everything in my life that I don't know when my season is coming to an end, and just go out because my season may potentially end. I get it, but it's like oxymoronic to me, really.
It's not to me, but to each their own. I won't tell you don't go out. You're not my family. My mother, I was just talking to her, and she said she went to Adelphia House with my sister.
Wait, what's Adelphia House? We don't know what that is.
It's a restaurant in Philadelphia that my sister loves. It's her favorite restaurant in Philadelphia. In the summer, they had outdoor dining, but obviously it's too cold. And I told my mom, now my mother is super careful, but sometimes you get around other people and they try to convince you to do stuff. So I'm like, all right, now mom, I can't see you for a couple weeks. I'm not playing. My mother she'll be 65 this year, and she's so paranoid about catching COVID. But apparently the food at Adelphia House was so enticing. Well, no, I know my sister is very convincing. She's like, okay, we can do it. We'll be okay. Whatever. There's no food. I love food. There's not much more that I love in this whole world of food. I'm a real foodie, but it'll be takeout, because when you're in a restaurant, the space is enclosed. I don't trust their ventilation system. Maybe you're spaced out, but all it takes is one person in that restaurant with COVID to infect the entire place. One person. So that's how I feel about it. I try to come at things from a scientific point of view. If I'm closed in with a space, I need to feel reasonably assured that nobody there is sick And like I've gone to the dentist since COVID. I've been to the dentist. I had to. But the dentist had a full mask on and a face shield. Okay? When you go to the restaurant, ain't nobody got no full mask and face shield on except maybe the servers. Maybe.
Small me. I mean, if I go to a
I
restaurant, it'd have to be a spacious. I'm not going to no hole in the walls, but that's just me in general. But if it's spacious and like maybe 6 tables or something like that, I might do that. And then in the time, and if you're going, sometimes don't be nobody in there. But I'm not going in peak party hours.
I don't know. I feel like Brooklyn is weird.
At the same time, like you can be all precautious, but most of the cooks and people in the background don't have anything. They don't wear any PPE.
I've been in a lot of my takeout places. Yeah,
they're making your food.
Yeah,
and you're not seeing it. So
yeah, I don't feel like just because how can I say this? Like, I don't assume that everybody who's making my food or in the restaurant is wearing a mask the whole time, or they're doing the chin hugger thing where they have the mask here, but their nose is exposed. Like, it's too many people out here who just feel like I can't wear them. I went into 7-Eleven the other day, and the man was walking in from outside, and so he didn't have his mask. I said, John, he said something. Somebody said something. John I said, John, I'm gonna need you to put your mask on. And John looked at me, and then he mad, but he put it on. Like, and he worked behind the counter. I don't assume that everybody's wearing the mask like they're supposed to anymore.
I don't ascribe to the idea that just because there are certain risks that you inherently take, like walking outside or ordering takeout, that you might as well take all the risks. So I don't do that.
Right, but I think the other side of it is, why isn't takeout risky? So I think that's what and it's not a judgment, it's a general question of, like, for me, like, okay, so I'm going to say a friend, but so I have a friend who is an essential worker who takes the subway every day, works in a high risk environment, I guess. And I'm just like, if he can go and do that, and then I have another one who works for the MTA and he rides on the trains and deals with people. And I'm thinking, like, okay, it's been almost a year. Like, at some point, I don't want to infect my immediate family or my parents who are in their 60s and 70s, but I also got to live on some level. Like, and I've been out. I went out to a restaurant and we were supposed to eat in. This was in like October, November. And it just so happened when we got there, it was cold as hell and I didn't have a heavy jacket. So we ate inside and we were the only people in the restaurant, which was the only reason I was sort of okay with it. And we ate and then that was it. And then I was like, for a week, I was like, oh, I got COVID. Oh my God. And then I went on with my life. And I know that I'm probably going to go someplace for my birthday. I'm not sure if it's going to be indoors or outdoors or whatever. And I probably won't bring anybody. Maybe that's why I don't want to go out with my friends. And then also, I mean, everybody has their pod of people. So I guess in my head, they're not in my pod. So
I'm not saying I'm immune to COVID or anything of that nature. I'm not necessarily trying to put myself out there like, oh, I'm COVID. I will never get COVID. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I think my potential to get COVID is just as high working as it is for me going out and actually enjoying myself for a change. So I'm saying, if I can do all this for work, why can't I spend quality time with myself or someone else? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It does not. I risk it all for some money, but I won't risk it for my own sanity or my own enjoyment.
My best friend just got COVID. And that was a whole week of me you can't go see them. And her temperature was like 100 and she's texting me, it's 103. And I'm thinking, maybe you need to go to the hospital, but I can't go over there. And then she recovered and she was hardcore. Like, nobody could come to her house. She wore a mask. She washed her hands, but she had to go to work. She had to go to work and work infected her. So I feel like there's got to be some kind of balance. I don't think people should take unintentional risks, but the reality is, if you can go to, I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be some kind of balance. And I also think that you gotta live. You gotta live.
Exactly.
I think that belief or that feeling is the reason why we are leading the planet in COVID infections. So I think I don't want to be the Simon of
but
the
even the people
but
who locked down.
Why are we leading the world in COVID infections?
Because we're Americans and we feel entitled. Yeah. But the other side of it is the people who have done the lockdowns have had multiple waves, right? It's not as if we are high.
As soon as they reopen.
The rest of the world didn't. Like, I work for an international firm, right? So every week we get on with London and Singapore and Germany and talk to them about different things. So we're leading. That's fine. And you're right. We're entitled Americans and we need to learn how to stay home. But the other side of it is the people who lock down and were more strict are still having waves of COVID. So they lock down, they come back, they lock down, they come back. So it is, and we're just going straight up because we never locked down. So I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility to say that lockdown isn't 100% the answer.
Well, you have to remember, at first, the whole idea wasn't to eradicate it. It was to make sure that, this is way back when, this was in March, April, not to eradicate it, that would have been fine, but it was to flatten the curve. In other words, they knew it was going to go up. And, that's something else with the waves coming in and out. That's something that was expected. But the idea was that we don't overwhelm the medical industry, hospitals overflowing. And remember how it was back in, now again, this is 6 months ago, back in New York, when they were talking about the ambulances going by every day. And, they had to have the trucks with the cold storage and things like that. So I understand definitely why people are, cautious. I'm definitely cautious, but I know that it's asking a lot of people to do, especially if we don't have to support the people that have to go to work. Like you said, your friend who got COVID and, but she had to go to work. She got it from the job. In other countries, yes, they have people that have to go to the jobs, but there's support systems in place that help people if you get COVID and other measures. So the issue here, I think, is that there wasn't any sort of coordinated effort, which is hard because, 50 states, each one has different realities. But not only that, there wasn't any support if people did get COVID or testing to know, well, okay, you have it here, you have to quarantine and stay in for X number of days and things like that. So because it was so haphazard and, they took so long on the ball, that's why we're in the place now. People are just tired. Thankfully.
Not so much tired, but I was in my house for 3 months alone in the beginning of COVID, right? So you have David and whoever you live with.
No,
and I think, hold on, let me finish what I'm going to say. Let me finish all my words. So for me personally, was in my house by myself for 3 months. The only people I saw was the people at the grocery store. And I don't even think I went to Target for the first 3 months. And mentally, it was challenging. And at some point I was like, I can't. It's either spiral down mentally or die of COVID. That was really where my whole life was in April or May. And I just decided I gotta live. It's just, I hate to say it. And maybe I'm a selfish, entitled American or whatever it is, but mentally, I was not staying in my house a whole nother month. I wasn't. I think that was the month that I went and stayed down the shore. And I literally called my best friend. I was like, I'm going to the COVID hotel. And she's like, Venus, I need you not to go to the COVID hotel because that's not happening.
That's an unfortunate name. They haven't changed that yet. It's still called the COVID hotel.
No, it was just hotels in general would just consider that
place. So people go in and out of there. So
no, it wasn't. I just in my head, I'm like, every place must be infested. So look, right. I made the decision that I'm going to this place, and there's the potential that the hotel had somebody who had COVID, and I could get COVID. And by doing this, I am consciously making this decision. That's really what it was. It wasn't that I thought that it was. But
in reality, it was the reverse because nobody's there.
Right. But I took my Lysol and all of my cleaning supplies. I put my luggage outside and cleaned for 20 minutes while I wiped down everything else. And it was the best thing I ever did. And then I came back and stayed in my house for another month or two. I think everybody has their limits. And I also think everybody's situation is different, right? So if you're an essential worker, you're it's a little different, I think, for people. And I feel like there shouldn't be so much judgment. It's easy for people to say if you stayed in your house, this would everybody stayed in their house, this would eradicate the problem. But I don't think that's true. Because we all got to come out eventually. We all got to come out eventually. So then what?
It's not. And then you got the people that have stayed in the whole time and have not been out. And now their immune systems, they have not been exposed to regular things. So their bodies have not made antibodies for just regular things. So they're more susceptible to a lot more things because they haven't been around. They haven't been in contact, because that's how you build up your immunities, by coming in contact with germs and diseases and things.
And I mean, and the other side is, I do think you should wear a mask. I do think you should be careful. I know people who don't believe in masks. I have family members who won't get tested and have been exposed, who we, potentially are out there working and doing things and haven't. So I feel like you need to take some responsibility, and also the entitled American in us says we don't have to and we should. I just feel like there needs to be some kind of balance. I mean, yeah, that's me. I'm going to be quiet now.
You're right. I think the issue is that, okay, on the one hand, stay in your house, don't do anything at all, don't see anybody, don't breathe on anything, everything you come in, wash it 3 times. There's that extreme. But there's the other thing, which people don't seem to be doing. It's just, keep your distance, wear a mask. It's that, even if most people or the vast majority of people did that, that would have had a huge impact. But even that, it seems that people can't do.
That's what they tell us would make a strong impact. That's what we've bought into. Do we really know? No, because it's still out here. The waves are going up and down, like you said, or as whatever. So who's to say that that's all actual reality?
I mean, you could look at the other countries that have more stringent protocols and see, yes, they have the waves like they would predict, but just the rates have been overall a lot lower. So
I mean, we're
it's not 100%.
We don't respect each other.
Work. It's all about making it.
But I mean, it's different.
It's all about everything that you do makes at least a little bit of a difference. It's not going to necessarily drop down to 0, but instead of 76,000 people, it might have been 100,000 people, which is still terrible, but that's a big difference with even the smallest things that we could have done. But
there's a lot of people that die every day, and that number is quite higher than what we realize. So what I'm trying to say is that, how is this number in comparison to the people that were dying every day before COVID ever hit?
Yeah, 270,000.
If I wore a mask,
I think also
I knew that I could prevent one person by me wearing the mask, I wear my mask. Like if I know that I
wearing a mask.
I don't really care about the larger number. I just care enough about somebody else's life to wear my mask and keep my distance.
Yeah, and I think the media doesn't help either with people in their decisions, nor the government, because they dropped the ball pretty much. So you got those two, and some people are just like, F it, I'm not dealing with any of it. Because we knew it was on its way. We've seen what countries and how it affected immediately. And they just pretty much still said, yeah, well, just let them come on in, and whoever comes here, whatever. If somehow New York became an official hotspot. It's just, and then one end, you got all these projected numbers that's way higher than they should be. Then you go to the hospital, nobody's in the emergency room. What are we doing? Then you got people dying, this not being taken care of. Like, there's things in place, like CDC and whatever, but then you tell everybody, oh no, we don't have nothing in place to handle something like this. But yet and still, if you can handle overseas when they had their pandemics, how the hell you don't have one here for your own home? So that's just like, people are just like, they not believing the numbers, then the ball is being dropped. So now people are just in limbo. So it's either you be at one extreme or you just be cautious in the middle. And that causes a major problem. So it's like a conspiracy on one side, and then there's reality for people who's dying and losing people right in front of them. So it's just, you got to choose what side you on, hopefully without all the judgment. But people is people, so.
I I feel like this one thing I'll say is just proclaiming what you're going to do or what you're not going to do is not the same thing as judgment. I try to just live and let live. But what I'm not going to do.
No, you.
Yeah, what I'm not going to do is go to a restaurant because food is essential. You have to eat, but I don't have to sit around a room of strangers and breathe in the same air that they're breathing. I don't.
Oh, definitely.
I don't have to do that. It's fun. I love it. But I grew up for many years without eating out at all. Like I never went to restaurants when I was a kid growing up in West Philadelphia. We'd be home eating a home cooked meal every single day. I didn't go out to parties. I didn't club. This was my entire life, all of high school. I was a nerd. I sat home every Friday and Saturday night. So if I did it from the 7th grade to graduation, I can do it again for this 1 year until whatever vaccine or whatever treatment comes out that may improve my chances of survival.
You froze
Yeah, but see,
a bit.
like I said, that's your method. So that's you taking your precaution. Me, I work in an area where it's multiple different people. So I see the judgment firsthand. And then, you go to some places like, oh, well, that's what you do. Blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing it like this? Why are you doing it like that? And it's just like, man, that's just their method. You got your own. Take a piece. You don't have to do everything, but you can take a piece, bits and pieces, and apply to you to how it's going to work. There's one thing for me, I'm not doing the restaurants. Like no major, like I said, no hole in the walls. I'm not doing that. Even my food, I'll pick it up and be out. I don't want anybody dropping it off.
I will say,
I really never was a delivery person.
Yeah, I'll say I'll be real mad if I get sick and I didn't do anything and I see my friends jet setting to Vegas and to the Casbah and what have you all day long. I'll be mad as hell. I'll be like, you know what? God damn it. Oh, I should have went on. Really mad. But I still feel like I have to try my best to do what I can to not get sick. That's all I can do. So
I will say I'm not getting on a plane like I want to. It's killing me. My heart is hurting.
You hear about that couple that knew they had COVID and got on a plane? They tried to get on a plane. Did you hear about that?
No.
I didn't hear about it, but it's a lot of that going on.
They just stopped a family. The little boy, I don't know how, maybe the family got tested, but the little boy tested positive and they had to run around and stop them from getting on the plane. But it's like you got the test, but you didn't wait for the results to get on the plane. So he was positive and they had to pull him off. And in my opinion, there are people flying with COVID.
Definitely. There absolutely are.
There's people moving around
every day with COVID.
You hear them coughing and like, fam, you don't look good at all.
You look like you got COVID. I see the COVID in your eye.
I'm gonna call your family. Just stay right there. Like you coughing and hacking and moving real slow. You're a full-blown athlete with a scholarship. You need to stay.
Scary, man. It's scary. Me and David did quarantine for 3 months. I did not see him for 3 whole months because I live with an essential worker. So me and my daughter are at home, but our other family member that lives there had to go to work. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now they wear protective gear at work, but it was still a very scary time. Now we're feeling a little less paranoid about things, a little less. But
what made you less paranoid?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Rhea.
That's only because, we've been in it for a while that you're feeling a little less anxious or whatever. Hasn't changed anything.
No, it's because at first, yes, we have been in for a while, but my family member seems to be doing okay. And, yes, I did realize, yes, you have to live a little bit. So my little bit of living is coming to see my man. That's it. That's my living. But I feel that that's essential and eating at a restaurant isn't. So that's how I feel about it,
Wait, what? So eggplant is essential?
Eggplant is definitely essential.
Because let me find out that I could justify my egg. I don't have no eggplant. But that's not important.
Well, okay. Well, we tried. We looked at the risks. David works from home. I work from home. But so I'm more of a risk to him than he is to me because I live with an essential worker. And he lives alone. So we watch things. I only see him twice a month. So if anybody's looking sketchy within that time period, we have a little time to say, wait a minute, I may not be able to come this week. That happened last 2 weeks ago. My essential worker housemate said they were potentially exposed, and that you know, they were really worried, and we were trying to get them a COVID test and we couldn't. So I skipped a whole, you know, I haven't seen David in a month because of that. So yeah, we take precautions and hope for the best, but I don't want my house to get infected and then I come here and infect him. You know, that you know, but we all decided this was a risk that we were willing to take. Otherwise, where's our relationship? We're just going to be distant for the rest of our, for the next 2 years.
But this is my point. This is exactly my point. Granted, yours is on a smaller scale, but this is my point. You decided at some point you have to live your life, and where's your relationship going to be? Right. That's my point. No, you that's it. I understand where you're coming from, but this is my point exactly. And granted, you tried to take your precautions and you did it on a much smaller scale. You thought about the situation and everything. But the point is, at some point in time, you have to start living. You just
make an assessment of what you will and what not do.
Yeah.
Exactly. What is important to you and what is not. So I have decided that eating in restaurants is not important, but going to the nail salon and seeing my man is.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
She just slid that in there.
Hold on. Let's back up.
The nail salon. Wait a minute. Yeah, a minute.
Wait, hold on.
You try to slide that past us.
Oh my God.
Yes, I decided that the nail salon is critical to my existence.
So let us be clear. Let's just stop. Let's be clear. The nail salon is essential, but eating out is not.
Yes, the nail salon is essential, but eating out isn't. But when I go to the nail salon, I wear 2 surgical masks. The people who are serving me, the people who are working on me, are wearing a mask and a face shield. They have petitions between each station. They have a petition between the person that's taking care of me. So I feel a little more protected than at a restaurant where everybody has no mask on, is eating and talking.
And twerking.
Working on chairs.
Exactly, twerking on the table. They're you know, exposing the, you know, their booty air to everybody. In addition to
that booty air. What?
Yes,
because you're gonna get COVID from their booty air, right?
Exactly.
Hey, it may have.
You're gonna get cooties and COVID. You're gonna get cooties and COVID from the booty air with these mother.
I cannot.
See, I'm sipping for real.
I may need to sip too. We're gonna have to pause and get some kind of alcoholic. What is that?
Is that wine? Is that wine?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen that one before.
No, I need some liquor.
This whole bottle's about to be gone, David. Gotta get some.
Can't be sober no more.
Getting loose.
Yes.
You told us what the deal was.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot in here. Okay, all right.
It's essential. I felt much better after I go to the. So you had to go to the COVID motel. I had to go to the nail salon. Okay.
Why? Okay. So is it just? So you could have done your nails in the house. What was the thing? Like you just like the way they.
Let me see what had happened. It was my birthday.
Oh, really?
Oh, she didn't.
Really?
It was
okay.
It was my birthday.
Oh.
And I went someplace where I could wear a mask or 2. Actually, I wore 2.
Her birthday.
Yeah, listen, Venus. I'm here for you. I'm on Team Venus right now. I'm hearing all of it.
If I can go somewhere and wear a mask, I'll feel less concerned about my risk. But if I can't wear a mask and the other people can't wear a mask, so I had surgery on my back. It was a mild surgery. It was scheduled, and I needed to get it done. So I went to the surgical center. It was a, in and out procedure. So the plastic surgeon was like, okay, we're going to lay you down on your stomach. Okay, we're going to numb the area. We're going to do this. I had a cyst on my back, so they had to surgically remove it. And he's like, okay, how are you doing? I said, I can't breathe. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm like a 300-something pound woman and my breasts are huge and I'm laying on them right now with a mask on my face. I can't breathe. And he said, it's okay. You can take the mask off because me and my assistant, we both have masks on. It's okay. So I had to take the mask off. I couldn't breathe. Laying down on my stomach with a mask on my face, I couldn't breathe. That's one procedure I had to have since COVID. I had a tooth pulled there was no way I could wait until after October for that tooth. It was like the worst pain I've ever had in my life, including childbirth. I felt like someone was drilling in my skull. So yes, there's certain things I've had to deal with. So I haven't been in my house the entire time. You know, I've had to go to medical appointments and the nail salon.
I like how she keep tossing that out there like we gonna miss it. I had to have the surgery and my nails.
Nail surgery.
And then she had the surgery, and then with her open, you know, an incision and everywhere, she walked outside into the COVID air.
No, it wasn't open. It was very much covered. So you had the butterfly bandages.
I'm sorry. It was masked. But she walked into
it was definitely. No, but the protocols at the doctor's office were very stringent. You know, all the doctors were wearing masks. I'm sure they get tested every week. So I felt reasonably safe.
Well, you said the COVID booty air weren't there?
Well, maybe just the booty air. Booty air of itself. Booty air of itself is toxic. I don't want nobody's booty air if I'm going.
I'm just saying, were they covered by? You know what I'm saying? You know, they were covered by pants, and I'm sure underpants. That's covering.
What is this booty air thing?
Nah.
What are y'all folks doing? Why are we talking about? Why is that related to? Huh?
Working in restaurants, you got it. You didn't.
Some people don't wear panties in the
Yelled at
restaurant.
the woman.
That's different.
Oh, he didn't yell at a woman.
They
He cursed
all
the
wearing pants. Nobody had on a skirt.
He cursed the whole
Are they
restaurant out.
strippers? Who are these people?
Just
They were
regular
just a couple
patrons.
girls eating at a restaurant. The plates were like $50, but for whatever reason, they were on the table twerking. I don't know.
Oh, so with no panties.
No, they had pants.
Probably.
Well, we assume we don't know.
You don't know.
Oh, well, I don't know if they had panties on, but from what it looked like, they had pants on. Equivalent of putting a mask over your face. I'm just saying. And the booty hair has to get past the cheeks first, though. I'm just saying.
Still would have been upset if I was there to eat and they were shaking their ass in the air, but yeah.
All right. I don't know what to do with this. You know what? As your host, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a pause. We're going to stop this. Okay. So if you're watching this is part 1 because part 2 is going to be, are you going to take the COVID vaccine? But we're going to stop this and take a moment and there'll be a part 2 and you'll see that at the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit like, comment, and subscribe. Wear panties so your booty air does not get or underwear into the rest of the world. I'm not even sure how that's a thing.
Out. Some thermals under some stuff.
And we'll be back.
Washing your ass is essential.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like and
subscribe. Turn on the notifications.
Turn on notifications and leave a comment if you like this video. Thank you for watching.